Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kate here. I've had a few new faces join recently, so if you're new, hello. I'm so happy to have you here and so excited that you think my videos are interesting and you want to follow along. Thanks for being here and supporting me, and all the people who have been here for a while. I'm also so thankful for you guys too. I'm just so thankful for all of your support. You guys mean a lot to me, so thanks for being here. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the 7 habits in homemaking that I try to follow pretty regularly. You know, keep in mind, this does not always look perfect, and this is just what works for me. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work for you too, but I feel like these are habits that have helped me maintain my home, stay on top of things, and not get overwhelmed or lose motivation to cook and to clean and to stay on top of things. Like, I just get overwhelmed when things are falling apart and when the house is dirty or cluttered or whatever it might be. So these habits, I feel like, just help me stay on top of things. So let's jump right in here. I'm gonna break these up into 2 different categories. The first category is what I try to do every single day. Like I said, this does not always look perfect, but on good days, when I'm really staying on top of things, the first habit is I make my bed. Now, this is something that I feel like is kind of talked about a lot, but I think underappreciated. Just the simple fact of making my bed every day is like that first initial step of something really small that I can do that kind of sets my entire day in motion. And it's like this small thing that I accomplish, and so then it encourages me and motivates me to move on and want to accomplish other things as well. It also creates such a cozy and peaceful environment for not only me at the end of the day, but also my family. We have a little toddler and we normally read to him every single night before he goes to bed in our room. And so when we all go in there together at night and the bed is made and the room is picked up and it's just tidy and cozy and peaceful, I think it really, really impacts him, and it's creating this routine where he feels secure and at home. And then, not to mention, for me and my husband, when we go in there to go to bed at night, just peeling back a made bed is so welcoming, and it feels clean and cozy and peaceful, and it just really makes a big difference. So that's a small one, but that one has really helped me feel like I'm making a difference in my family. Moving on to the next one, I try to completely clean my kitchen in between every single meal. Now, let me just say, this does not always happen, obviously. If I'm having an extra busy day or we're running errands and we're out of the house, this does not always happen, but this helps me so much, you guys, and I think it could help you too, and here's why. If you're someone like me who walks into your kitchen and sees dishes in the sink and crumbs and muck on the counter and stuff on the floor, and it's just a nightmare, I instantly get overwhelmed and stressed and sometimes grumpy because it just comes out, and I'm just like, it really, really stresses me. And some people are not like that, like they can function in chaos. I'm just not one of those people. And so not only does it make me stressed and overwhelmed, but it also makes me not motivated at all to step into that kitchen and cook a meal for my family. And that's the last thing that I want. So I've started trying to clean in between every single meal. That's doing the dishes, sweeping the floor, wiping the counters, and putting things away. And it's also helpful, I didn't make this its own category, but this kind of ties into it. It makes this habit even easier if you clean while you're cooking. But yeah, I've just found that when I clean in between every single meal, the next time I step into my kitchen to cook, I am motivated to cook again for my family. I feel calm and not stressed or overwhelmed. This habit is a game changer. I do not always want to do it in the moment, but I'm always thankful in the future that I have done it, and it just really helps me out mentally and makes me feel like I am maintaining and keeping up with our home. Moving right on to the next one, prepping my sourdough bread or any sourdough recipe that I might be cooking this week or this current day. So this falls under a daily one because I make sourdough, a sourdough something most days, I would say, especially if it's something that ties into a recipe that I'm making, and we'll get into that in our weekly habits. But I just go ahead and prep whatever it is I'm making. And so that might include going ahead and feeding my sourdough starter so it's fed and ready to go by the time I need need to use it for said recipe, getting the dough ready the night before so that I can bake a loaf of sourdough in the morning, or whatever it might be. I pretty much always am daily prepping my sourdough for a recipe that I am using. Once again, I feel like this just plays in and ties into your homemaking because it just puts you one step ahead and it prepares you, motivates you, and helps you when it comes to meal times and staying on top of your bread making if this is something that's important to you or whatever that might be. So that's another daily homemaking habit. I try not to wait until the last minute. I try to stay on top of it and prep and plan and maintain what I'm doing, and it really helps me out and it makes bread making a lot more fun when I'm prepared and on top of things. So my last daily habit, once again, this does not always happen, but that is to sweep my floors. I cannot stand, it's one of my biggest pet peeves when I walk across my floor. We have mostly hardwoods in this house, and it is one of my biggest pet peeves when I walk across the floor and dirt and crumbs and things stick to the bottom of my feet. I cannot stand it. And you might be thinking, well, just wear socks or shoes around the house. I know. I'm not really a sock person and we don't like to wear our shoes in the house. I try to maintain a shoe basket by the door. We take our shoes off when we come in the door, but I just cannot stand this, and it makes me feel like we're living in a dirty home, and I don't want that for myself or my family. So I try to sweep our floors every single day. I don't always get into every single room every day, but I always try to hit the high spots, which would be our kitchen, where there's obviously a lot of crumbs and just things that fall onto the ground. The dining room, kind of the same thing, just a lot of crumbs, things like that. Our living room, since we spend a good amount of time in here, as well as the entryway into our front door, where there's a lot of dirt and grime and things like that. I just try to sweep every single day, and it really, you would be surprised. It just totally makes, I just can't even explain it. It just makes such a difference. It makes me feel so much better that our house feels clean and tidy. I don't have to worry about that feeling when my little guy goes to bed at night, the bottoms of his feet are clean. I feel like that is just such a small but huge homemaking habit that has made such a difference for me, and you can start so small with that. So yeah, I try to hit the high spots every single day, and I don't always make it to those, and I don't always make it to the bedrooms or the bathrooms or things like that, but I do try to at least sweep the hot spots every single day. So moving on to our second category, which is our weekly homemaking habits. Now, some of these have disclaimers, or they might look a little bit different for you, but I'm just talking about from my personal experience what has helped me feel not as overwhelmed and like I'm able to stay on top of things in maintaining my home. The first weekly habit that I like to do is a toy rotation. Now, this doesn't always happen every single week either. Sometimes it gets pushed back to every 2 weeks or once a month. So these might look like once a week, once a month, whatever, but these are homemaking habits as well. So toy rotations, obviously if you don't have a little kiddo, you can skip on to the next one, but I never used to do toy rotations with him, and I realize now just how big of a difference it really makes in his play and in his entertainment levels and his overall joy and happiness. Like, that sounds kind of cheesy, but he gets very excited and happy when we bring out a new rotation and he has new to him toys to play with. It kind of reignites imagination, and I see him playing with things and practicing independent play, and it just makes me really happy to see, and it makes such a difference. And it's a little bit easier for me now. This might look different for you, but we have extra room in our home, which is a huge blessing, and so I actually have toy storage now for the first time since becoming a mom, I would say. I thrifted these bins from a yard sale for like 50 cents a piece, and I thought, okay, that'd be perfect for his toys, and they work perfect. So normally I just gather everything that has been strewn about within the last week or however long the current rotation has been out. I bring it all back together, get it all organized again, and I pull out the new things that I want to put out for him and then put the old stuff away, and it just really helps make a difference. And if you're trying to avoid a ton of screen time, we don't say no screen time at all, but I definitely notice a difference in his behavior when he has less screen time, and it's a positive difference. And so I try not to do a lot of TV or things like that. So it's just exciting to see when he has a new toy rotation. It really helps boost his interest in his toys, encourage independent play, and I'm able to go work on other things and know that he's perfectly happy learning and doing what he needs and wants to be doing in here, and I don't have to resort to a screen. So that's really helpful. Moving on to the next weekly habit is folding and putting away my laundry as soon as it comes out of the dryer. If you've been around here for a while, I think I've mentioned this before. I used to be really bad about folding our clothes and then they would just sit in a laundry basket for days or sometimes even weeks. And I know that this works for some families, but once again, you have to do what works for you as a wife or as a mom or just as a single person living on your own. You have to do what works best for you. And when I have clothes just sitting around in laundry baskets where people are just pulling out of them, it's overwhelming and stressful, and I lose track of what's clean and what's dirty and where did this shirt go and where are these pants, and it just creates chaos. And I used to do this to myself all the time. So now I really try hard to pull the clothes out of the dryer when they come out, and I try to fold them immediately and put them away immediately. And this might be a little bit easier for me because we're not quite to the point where we're doing a load of laundry every single day. That's probably about to change when we welcome this little baby into the world. But right now I'm probably doing laundry maybe twice a week. So maybe that makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to put my clothes away immediately. I don't know what your situation is, but this has just really helped me once again feel like I am staying on top of things, not getting overwhelmed, and maintaining my home in a non-stressful way. So the last homemaking habit that I try to follow weekly, which really helps me out and feel prepared and planned, is to meal plan at the beginning of the week / pick meals for the week ahead and prepare for them. So this once again is going to look different for everybody. We don't live super close to a grocery store, so I've been trying to grocery shop a month at a time. And so what I have right now is this master recipe list meal plan, if you will, and it just has about 30 to 31 meal ideas, and some of those are repeats or whatever, but it's about 30 to 31 meals for a month at a time. And so what I'll do is I will go, on a Sunday or a Monday, and I'll go ahead and plan the meals that we want to eat. I'll just pick them off of that list, go ahead and plan the meals that we want to eat that week, and I do several things. I put it and write it out onto an extra little whiteboard calendar that I have, and this just gives me a rough idea of what night we're going to eat what meal. And then I will also pull out any meats from the freezer that we're going to need for the week ahead. That way I'm not last minute scrounging around trying to thaw meat. I know what we're having and it's already pulled out and it's already ready to go and thawed. And then I'll also sit down, look at the recipe for the meal that I want to make if I'm unfamiliar with it. Just make sure I know how much time it's going to take, or if it involves sourdough. Like I said, I've been using a lot of sourdough recipes, mainly all of them from Farmhouse on Boone. And a lot of those you have to be a little bit prepared for, or just simply think ahead of. Like her hamburger buns, you make the dough the night before, if I remember correctly, and then you have different steps that day when you wake up or whatever. So it's just simple things like that. You just have to look at and check your recipes and make sure that you're prepared for said meal on the day that you want to have it. And this has helped me so much. It doesn't feel as stressful stepping into your kitchen and cooking every single time when you have a plan and you know what you're going to be eating, and you already have your meat thawed, and you know what your dough needs to be doing if it's important to you to be cooking from scratch meals or whatever the case may be. Just simply having a plan and being prepared in advance has helped me so much, and I don't feel as overwhelmed or unmotivated to cook meals for my family. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys. I think it was about 7 habits, some daily, some weekly, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it's encouraging or maybe helpful in whatever season of life you're in. It's going to look different for everybody, but I just want to encourage you to not get discouraged or feel unmotivated. It does not have to be that way, and that's what I am learning. I'm not perfect at that yet, of course, but you don't have to get stuck in this rut of constantly feeling overwhelmed or discouraged in your homemaking. Like I said, whether you are a single person living alone or with roommates, or whether you're a mom to 10 or like me, a mom to 1, almost 2, whether you're not a mom at all, you're just a wife, which is even that's special in itself. It doesn't matter what your season looks like. Having the opportunity to be a homemaker and to bless and serve the people in your home is truly a gift, and I feel content and fulfilled when I'm able to fill that role, and I know that you can too. And so I hope this video encourages you, maybe inspires you, maybe gives you some ideas, or maybe maybe it was just relaxing and fun to watch. I don't know. But thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Always remember, you're fully loved and fully known by your creator, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys.